The silent session will start now. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'm just curious in the audience how many people are actually transiting and thinking about mid-career switch as well. Okay, no problem. I'll deliver this session for you. Okay. Um, I think just as a round of introduction, I'm Arvin, and today's headline is really about navigating career changes, navigating what is up and coming in terms of the skill sets, demand on the workforce manner, demand from the employee segment. Happy to share a little bit more in terms of the upcoming trends. Yeah, and I think at this point we can make it interactive as well. If let's say you have any particular questions, please feel free to let me know. I think then that would be beneficial for everybody. First, just to introduce a little bit more, I'm from this company called Akin. Akin by Tech Leon is a digital agency. In short, what we do is we help companies grow. We bring companies and brand from market to market. My specialty is around across Asia. So in the APAC markets, we cover about 12 to 13 key markets itself. What does this mean? It means that for when we speak to clients, we typically will help them with research. We typically will help them with insights. For instance, what would help you grow in a specific sector? What will help you grow in a specific domain? And because I work with clients on that note, a lot of times they will be asking me to do consultancy work, right? So I'll tell them the information on insights. But then thereafter is an issue. When information is passed over to the clients, sometimes they struggle with finding people to manifest what that means for the company. Which means with insights, with information, how can the company localize that language to help their own business units and operation improve? So that's one key area I'll talk about. The second is around brand and marketing. Brand and marketing is a big part of what we do, which means in terms of marketing communications, brand assets localization, go-to-market information, that's where we look at the brand and marketing side. The third part is in data and technology, which is why I think I've been invited onto today's stage to share a bit more. The ICT sector, commonly known as the Infocom technology sector, has been changing quite a lot in the past 5 to 8 years. The previous speaker spoke about AI and Gen AI, and that's really a very, very complex layer to unpack. I think what workforce right now need to kind of ask ourselves is how do we stay relevant today? Today I'll share a little bit more as well in terms of how the regional focus is like, how does that affect the talent space here in Singapore, and also how I think we can scale higher in APAC itself. So I'll share a little bit about my recent immersion programs. I just recently returned from a Korea 2-week cycle. Within that 2-week cycle, I look at what are the talents doing, what are they learning, and what's the industry changes. And when we pack that to Singapore, what is our advantage? There's something that I noticed when it comes to talent space and skills-based kind of learnings. Number one, I think not just Singaporeans, globally everybody is struggling with their relevance. If today there's an increase in uptake of technology, previously what was high barrier to entry skill sets, for example, your Java mainframe programmers, or even, for instance, specific languages control, actually it might not be relevant today. They might be outsourced or offshore to other countries, especially if you think on a wage perspective. Last week I just came back from Shanghai as well, where they are chasing up on the global AI chips production as well as AI technology application race against, of course, the US. But interestingly, where we kind of find out is what is then the current skill sets which is transferable within this space. How do you then use what you already know, be it whether it's project management within the tech sphere, or be it product owner knowledge for any sort of products? How can you map to the life stage and the career trajectory of tomorrow? And that's what we would like to unpack a little bit further. Yeah. So right now, if you just look into the general space, we look at the amount of job supply. In this space itself, of course, your banks, your government, and your high MNCs, they are holding on to quite a lot of jobs, but we don't forget about the SMEs also. The SME space are hiring a lot of the local labor force, and SMEs, when you pack to what's happening on trends might be lagging behind trends. This means that today, whatever that's really exciting, today, let's say we talk about AI and Gen AI, the SME markets may take a further 4 to 5 years before they actually have the positions for those trends. That's one thing to note, since they are a big percentage of our labor force is being hired by SMEs, right? But where does this put us, and what's the opportunities for the talents in this space? Number one is, as we are noticing global trends, we do know that Singapore as a tech hub, as a strategy hub itself for Asia, we will onboard those trends very quickly. So yesteryears, we hear of quantum computing, we hear of AI chips production, etc., etc. All of this will come in phase. But when you look from a skill set perspective, how do we then complement this kind of global trends? Over here, I listed 3 sort of key skills that we have noticed is up and coming, and also what I call the connector between the really technology skill sets and your everyday skill sets. So I'll start on from the first row. Programming-wise, in terms of language, Python is still racing ahead, followed by Java and C++ based on the mass adoption of languages that is propping and priming up the whole ecosystem. The second part about beyond the languages is actually the decision-making process. Decision-making process are, for instance, what I call the data and BI. Now, data-driven decision-making is something that quite a number, and I would say more than 50% of local SMEs, the top 50%, are looking into. I'll break it down a little bit more so that you can understand the relevancy. Data, it can be any stream of data. It can be customer data. It can be your day-to-day employee data. It can be sales data, of course. And it can also be market data. It could even be Google search data, etc., etc., etc. Why do I list out all of these very varied and different data sources? It's because data-driven decision-making needs to combine 2 perspectives by large. The first perspective is internal data, which means whatever the company, we're looking at employers, yeah, whatever the employers have that can value add their decision-making. We then look at the external piece. External lens means whatever that's happening on ground, out of the company, externalities, market-driven data streams. Now, these are the part where they also need to be aware of in order to make decisions, right? So, for instance, if today I'm in F&B, I need to know what my customer always picks so that I can optimize the purchase of my ingredients. But I also do need to know in Singapore what are the food items and food trends that is influencing my consumers to go for. Now, when I know such data and I layer it together, that's when I can make a decision for my restaurant to perhaps do fusion, since Singaporeans are having a liking to Korean food because of the number of Google searches I see that has trended over the past 12 months. These are basically decisions to be made, and that's where we amalgamate data together to come and teach and guide and act as guardrails for the strategies. The third, of course, is a broader piece back to the technology sector. These are cloud technologies, which means you have your AWS, your Google Cloud, etc. And the cloud technology is moving beyond just migration. Right now in the tech sphere, we are talking about cloud modernization. What are you doing in order to develop appliances and applications on top of your cloud in order for it to improve? The insights over here is that there are actually quite a number of agencies out there where you can find out more information about this, and you can approach, you can find a lot of literature on TESA as well as GovTech when you look at the whole data, cybersecurity, AI, cloud engineering sphere. So then what's the relevance here, right? I think just to perhaps to the mid-careerists here, when we look at such things, these are technical skill sets. More than often when we are talking to mid-career, and just a segue over here, I'm also representing Tech Talent Assembly, which is an organization and an association under NTUC. What we really try to empower are on-ground employees who are going through mid-careerists, going through career trajectory optimization. And more than often, we will let them know that it is a necessity to understand what is the trending technical skill set, but don't forget about your transferable skill sets. And by transferable skill sets in here, there are a plenty to talk about. If, let's say, for example, you used to be in the project management job scope, what you understand in terms of sequential solving of issues is as important as technical skill sets. If you were a product owner, like what I mentioned earlier, the kind of priorities and the ease of working through product development goals is also as relevant within companies as of yesteryears. One thing of transferable skill sets is to always look into the data-driven decision-making process, whereby you are the person who stitch business goals along with technical goals. So we see there's actually quite a number of opportunities for mid-careerists to step into this facade. There are actually quite a lot of ways that I would encourage the relevancy of someone's development when it comes to skill set, as well as understanding what is on trend right now. And one of the few ways that you can do that succinctly is to get mentorships within the tech and fintech space. Of course, we are in Singapore Fintech Festival, right? So there's actually quite a number of mentors around. Build connections with experienced mentors, and also get those career guidance from mentors to help you navigate where you are, moving that to where you need to be. So I'm also part of, and the reason why I'm invited to this stage today is I'm also part of the Volunteer Career Advisor network, which is helmed by WSG. Within there, and later I think you'll get a QR code, you can actually look for mentors within your network and industry. So for example, there's manufacturing, there's marketing, there's technology, there's also trading, etc. Look for those mentors where you can actually touch base with them through the platform, and WSG would actually facilitate this mentorship for you and connect you together with some thought leaders. I met really very amazing people in there. Some of them are mentor figures for even me, myself. So check it out. Just Google VCA WSG. Now, the second way that you can try to get this going, especially if you are at a point in your career where you're looking for different opportunities, would also be to join professional networks. So earlier on, I did mention about Tech Talent Assembly, NTUC, where we have 7,000 members right now to talk about how, or rather we engage them by not only showing them industry insights, we have more than 25 to 30 programs every year to try to upskill them. And most of it because we are more aligned to the ground up and employees engagement. We actually have the purpose itself for lifelong learning and upskilling. Second organization would be, for instance, SG Innovate. SG Innovate is deep tech community who have a lot of events, and they are also into new areas of technology where they also appreciate transferable skill sets. I did mention about mentors, but right now, I think in Singapore, there are actually quite a lot of platforms where you can find events. So go forth and find out more about the availability of them. And for a start, right, not only should you go one-to-one, that means, you know, get a mentor through the Volunteer Advisor network, but you can also go to events to meet like-minded peers and exchange stories and exchange experience as well. In terms of upscaling, like what I mentioned, there are actually quite a lot of my coaches and mentees who come to me and ask, okay, Arvin, so I'm ready for the next career because I'm so done with my current one. What can I do? I will always advise that when we are being too comfortable in our own role and job, we seldom look into the lens of upscaling. But when we think about upscaling, sometimes it might be a little too late because it's time to freshen up our CV and we might not have a lot of things to say, right? So I always advocate for proactive learning, which is basically your lifelong learning mantra. One of these things is the existence of what we call micro-credentials. Micro-credentials means you can actually go on a certain course. It could only be running for just that, 2 weeks or so, but it allows you to learn one very specialized task. And from that task itself, because you have that micro-credentials, it shows the intrinsic motivation you have to upskill yourself, which will let your employers take note of. Of course, staying agile is important. I share a personal story with you. There were actually, we were hiring just early this year for a account manager role. And of the 2 account managers that came to me, one of them actually really attracted my and the management's attention. And the reason is because this person actually went all the way to take more than 8 to 10 courses in fields that were relevant for me. For instance, as a copywriter, he actually took courses in HubSpot. That means it's a new age CRM tool, usage only, right? It doesn't mean that he knows a lot of high technical skills, but it doesn't matter to me. He also went to take on a PMP role, that means a professional project management certification. He also went on to take on a few, such as Facebook marketing, TikTok credentials, etc., which is relevant in my field. Now that gave me a lot more confidence in being able to appoint him as part of my prospective employee. So what can you do? Think about it this way. I'll summarize my session today. It's a short one, by sharing a bit more in terms of what are the most relevant skill sets you can put forth when you're talking to a tech person or when you're talking to a marketing platform and company. So us at Akin over here, we have also embedded quite a lot of AI into our interventions. Just to elaborate a little bit, when I look into insights, we actually look at how our sentiments can be uncovered more. Now, I talk about data streams, right? When it comes to research, what we do at Akin is to really look at ethnographic, social cultural norms. We merge that data along with what we understand of the landscape analysis to then make certain predictions to help our clients. Likewise, ask yourself, if let's say you are in a field of any skill sets, what can you do to augment your current skill? If let's say you know copywriting right now, for instance, can you be very sure that you learn prompting well so that ChatGPT can bring that level to another dimension? If let's say, for example, you are an analyst, are you able to learn business insight tools? Are you able to pick up tools on, say, for example, Tableau or, say, for example, Google Data Studio to bring that up another level? This is all about augmenting, right? The second piece, just to share a little bit more as well, would be in terms of forging emotional connection. That is still very important in today's lens when it comes to upskilling. The ability to connect with different stakeholders is important, and the ability to deliver this succinctly with a good brand story for yourself is also important. Lastly, just to round this up, whenever we talk about digital marketing, we make sure that we understand what are the tools and tech platforms you can use to help us. Think about it this way when you are furthering your specific skill sets. What are some AI tools? What are some platforms that you can use to increase the relevancy? Yeah. Okay, with that, thank you very much. This is the QR codes that I was talking about. You can find out more about WSG's Volunteer Career Advisors Initiative over here. After you scan through, you can actually see different industries. That is a very powerful platform when you can find mentors from your trade or from the trade you want to go forth with. Again, I'm also happy to get connected again on the same platform. You can just search for my name on LinkedIn. You can connect with me. Or you can just directly connect with me through the Glide platform on WSG. Happy to take any questions you might have. Kept this quite general so that I can answer most people's different perspective and learnings. But if you have any question, you can put your hands up and someone will pass a mic to you. We have about a couple of minutes. All great. If not, thank you everyone. I'm Arvin. I'm from Akin by Tech Leon. Happy to be here, and feel free to look for the mentors over here. Thank you.